super proud of myself. This was very difficult for me. Challenging, not difficult, to say that. Hi everyone, welcome to my vlog, and this time we're gonna learn how to sculpt. It's honestly not the easiest journey, but you know, every journey is something to experience, so come experience this with me.
Avoid covering the whole thing in masking tape. The reason being one.
As you can see over here, I'm starting with the base of the sculpture, and this thing is called an amateur. Ooh, fancy. I think it's a French word, but I think it's a fancy word. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, we have to start with the amateur for the base of the sculpt. And let me tell you something. This is so tedious because, first of all, my lecturer said don't put too much sellotape, so you need to try and make all of this paper and everything to hold and stay put as much as possible with as less sellotape as possible, but at the same time it needs to be quite a lot of paper, if you get what I'm saying. Anyways, you know what, that's not the point. The point is it's an annoying process, but anyways, let's go on. So here's the thing, I had a good class, so I didn't get to finish the amateur, but I'm gonna go back to it later. So I know I said I was gonna go back to it later, but you know, procrastinating is part of my brand, and I would be doing you guys a disservice if I didn't do something else first. So let's get a little treat. Okay, let me just say, first of all, I didn't expect the cafe to be that full. There was like way too many people for my liking, and like I opened the door and there was people staring at me, so I kind of got nervous for filming. Like I couldn't like film properly, that's why the camera is facing downwards. But anyways, look at me and the camera over there. Yeah, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. Yeah, anyways, yum. Oh, yum. That was nice. Not gonna lie. Okay, I'm talking too much. Bye. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So this is how an amateur is supposed to look like, and that's like the amateurs of the rest of my classmates. Look at how nice it is. And then look at mine. Oh. It really disappointed me. Like, the sellotape was just not holding it. It really was not holding it. I had to start all over again. So embarrassing. It really pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. It pissed me off. And scene 3. Ooh, doesn't this look like the beginning of a horror movie? I hate horror movies, but that's not the point. Anyways, you know what? The life of being an art student is having to do and carry on your projects at night. So this is me right now, going back to the art studio so I can finish my sculpture. And it looks so peaceful when it's at night. I like it when there's no people, when it's quiet. I mean, that's also when it's easier for a murderer to kill you, but that's also not the point. Anyways, we're back to the studio, and you can see that's me. But in the pictures and all of that, I had to look at myself, because I'm supposed to be sculpting a portrait of myself, you know. So we have me in every single angle, and we have the clay covered in plastic so that it doesn't dry out. As you can see, I had already started putting on the clay on top of the amateur and trying to mold it as much as possible. Let me tell you something, this was also difficult. I have so much respect for sculptors, because sculpting out the shape of my head, I had to it really gave me insecurity issues, first of all, because I never knew my forehead was that big. But anyways, that's the clay also that we're using. I forgot what type of clay it was. But you see, right now I am measuring the thickness of the sculpture. My lecturer said that it had to be past the pointy thing. But anyways, that's not the point. Look at me once again. Ooh, when I'm supposed to be sleeping, but that's not the point. You know, artsy girls, yeah. So anyways, I don't want to get myself dirty with the clay. Clay is such a messy project and everything, I'm not gonna lie, but I still had fun with it. As much as it was quite challenging, I still had a lot of fun with it. I couldn't even get my nails done because it was gonna get all in between and everything. It was just gonna get messy. But I was thinking maybe I should have done with gloves. Maybe I should have done this with gloves, but I'm not quite sure. I think maybe next time I'm going to do it with gloves. I should invest in like a good pair of gloves. But at the same time, doesn't it feel nice to just get your hands into the clay and everything? Me eating a snack instead of like fully focusing on my work. But procrastination, girls. Yeah. What can we say? We are the it girls. Anyways, finally, here I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. As you can see, I'm kind of like cutting off the edges of the neck because I don't want it to stick to the board. That's because at the end of the process, I'm going to cut this whole piece into half, and we don't want the neck to be falling off, like pieces of the edges of the neck to be falling off once they dry out. Woo. I'm sorry, I just had to do it again. Woo. Proud of myself. This was very difficult for me. Challenging, not difficult to say that. Yeah, so let's continue because let me tell you something. The features and everything, still challenging. But let's go. I will literally put up this to help us, be able to sculpt properly. And, when we're going to be sculpting the eyes and everything, we need to keep in mind how the eye sockets go into the skull, and like how the muscles connect, and how the muscles and the cheek muscles connect to the eyes and the ears. So yeah, this is my progress. And I'm tired, so I am gonna leave it for tomorrow. But let me show you guys what my mistake was. And it's too late, so I'm not gonna change it. You see these lines over here? The sculpture was obviously supposed to be like facing straight. It's too late because the reason why these lines are drawn here is because at the end of the process, we're gonna cut it open and then put it back together. And these lines were just there so that we can be able to cut it equally, so that like the lines here with the ear would be like direct, so that we could be able to cut it open equally. Wow, that's not gonna happen, so we'll figure out how to cut it. But as for now, it's already too late. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna stop. Like, I'm already here, so there isn't really much I can do. Yeah. But anyways, getting the nose was quite challenging. I'm not done though with the nose, and I'm not done though with the nose. And you know what? I'm leaving it for now. Just gonna cover it with some plastic and finish clearing up the station. Obviously just covering it up with plastic so that it doesn't dry up. Yeah, done. I'm going to sleep now. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of no one talking about the frustrating part of creating. And I was speaking to a friend of mine, and long story short, she was saying, why don't you, like, if you want to go get some dopamine and all those things, why don't you create? And I'm just like, yes, as much as creating art can make me happy, I don't, the creating part is just as frustrating, and it's not always this la la land and beautiful picture situation. It's frustrating to some extent. Sometimes I even feel anger, because to forge and to create what's in your head, sometimes it's not always the easiest process. And I wish there was a part of me that sometimes I wish like what I'm thinking in my head could just easily flow out and just easily come out into existence, but that's not always the case. And it's very frustrating. It makes me angry to some extent, but don't get me wrong, I love doing it. This is something I genuinely love, but yeah, it's not always butterflies and rainbows and lollipops, I think there is some sort of resilience that is needed when you're an artist, because wow.
And we have progress, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That's so beautiful. I wish I was bald. This is why I wished I was bald. I tried. Doing the hair is so difficult. Let me tell you something. It's because I have an afro. I don't know what to do. But yeah, remember when I was talking about the lines? When I was speaking about the lines, this is what we were talking about. At the end of the day, I had to cut the sculpture in two, and those lines that were drawn on the board were going to help me be able to cut it evenly so that the ears on both sides are, parallel. And the sculpture is very thick, so it kind of was difficult for me to cut into it. It took a while. I eventually had to get a man to help me. I know. But yeah, I was gonna do it by myself, but then eventually I thought, you know what? Let me just get this man to do it. One of my most shameful moments, but yes. Over here, I'm using a smaller tool because I'm trying to be careful. I'm really scared because I really don't want to cut off the ear. Do you know how difficult the ear was to make? It was so difficult, but yeah, I'm trying to be as careful as possible. As you can see, I finally got it cut, finally got it done into 2 halves. And now we have to do the scraping. So I have to scrape out as much of the inside so that when it gets into the kilt, is it called kilt? That oven, the one that you put the things inside? I think it's called a kilt. I can't remember. But that hot oven that you put your sculptures and your clay pots and all of those things inside? Yeah. So when it goes in there, the fire can be able to properly dry out everything in the sculpture, all of the clay in the sculpture, not just the clay outside, but the clay inside. So we have to try and get the layer not to be too thin, but a medium and good size from the inside. And that's why we have to kind of scrape all of this out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end. Look at me. Look at that. I had to glue the sculpture, the 2 pieces back, and that's me. I did that. A whole sculpture done. Now, was it the greatest sculpture? Oh my gosh, what is that dance? Okay, we get it. You did it. As I was saying, was it the greatest sculpture? No, but for a beginner, I think it was quite decent. I think it was quite decent, you know. So yeah, now I have to put a plastic over it so, you know, it doesn't dry out too much before we put it in the kilt. And now we're gonna leave it out to get graded. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end the vlog off over here, because we're done. And I just want to say thank you guys for coming this far in the video. You know, this is my first vlog, so we're gonna get better. But yeah, like, honestly, I'm tired. This project had me here, which is so disappointing because I was actually very excited to do sculpture. Don't get me wrong, because sculpture is definitely like a practice that I want to get into. However, it was not as easy as I thought it was going to be, and I'm so heartbroken because I thought, oh, you know, finally we're going to get into sculpture and this might be easy. No, but being Delulu is always the Delulu. So I'm gonna go to sleep. I need to go back to rest. I'm gonna go to sleep, and then I have classes tomorrow. So yeah.